Mainland banks clawback bonuses, employees forced to return performance-based pay. Triple threats trigger capital flight, Chinese may be heavily buying Bitcoin. Terrifying sandstorm engulfs Beijing, viral video captured from plane. China sees resurgence of pertussis, over 32,000 cases, 13 deaths in Jan-February. Leaked CCP documents reveal mobilization of Western journalists and media to persecute Falun Gong. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Mainland banks clawback bonuses, employees forced to return performance-based pay. In the landscape of a declining Chinese economy, its banking sector is being hit hard. The topic of reverse salary claims at multiple banks has recently sparked intense discussions within the industry and has become a top search trend in mainland China. China Merchants Bank, in its 2023 annual report, revealed that it had reclaimed performance bonuses from 4,415 employees, amounting to 43.29 million yuan, nearly $6 million, during the reported period. Over the past 2 years, the bank has recovered over 100 million yuan, about $13.84 million, in performance bonuses. With a total workforce of 116,500 at the end of 2023, this means that 3.78% of employees had their bonuses reclaimed, averaging 9,805.21 yuan, about $1,357, per affected individual. Similarly, the Bank of Tianjin's 2023 performance report showed that it deferred 166 million yuan, nearly $23 million, in performance bonuses, with 1.74 million yuan, nearly $241,000, subsequently reclaimed. Weihai Bank's report revealed that among its 774 senior management and high-risk impact staff, the total fixed salary was 96.68 million yuan, about $13.8 million, while the variable compensation before evaluation was 214.4 million yuan, nearly $30 million. After evaluation, this amount was reduced to 149.7 million yuan, about $20.7 million, including a deferred amount of 79.64 million yuan, about $11 million. In fiscal year 2023, Weihai Bank recovered 272,800 yuan, nearly $38,000, in performance bonuses. A bank employee explained that the clawback of wages primarily targets performance-based pay, such as sales commissions. By deferring a portion of these commissions and reserving the right to recover them, banks ensure they have funds to cover losses resulting from significant misconduct. The China Times reported that a worker at a publicly traded bank revealed a recent uptick in loan defaults and business failures, leading banks to recoup previously awarded bonuses tied to troubled ventures. In 2010, China's former banking regulator introduced guidelines mandating that commercial banks implement deferred payment and potential clawback of performance-based pay. Industry insiders disclosed that banks are not only clawing back performance-based compensation but also delaying its payment. For example, a Beijing-based city commercial bank withholds 40% of performance pay for at least 3 years, with senior executives facing a 50% deferral. One bank employee lamented that outsiders often assume they enjoy generous year-end bonuses and benefits like housing funds, but in reality, their monthly take-home pay is just a few thousand yuan. Although clawbacks tend to affect leadership more, deferred performance pay has become the norm even for rank-and-file employees. Another banker revealed their annual pre-tax salary is 300,000 yuan, about $41,511, yet they only take home 6,000 to 7,000 yuan monthly, about $969, with a year-end bonus of 70,000 to 80,000 yuan, about $11,100. However, given the recent economic slump, the size of this bonus has grown increasingly uncertain. The report confirmed these accounts through multiple bank employees. Since 2022, several listed banks in mainland China have started disclosing data on wage clawbacks in their annual reports, highlighting the growing trend of these practices within the industry. Triple threats trigger capital flight, Chinese may be heavily buying Bitcoin. The recent surge in Bitcoin's price, reaching an all-time high of $73,800 on March 5, 2024, has been largely attributed to significant investments from Chinese investors. This bull run has surpassed the previous record of $69,000 set in 2021, drawing the attention of international media outlets. Several factors have been identified as potential drivers behind the influx of Chinese funds into Bitcoin. Firstly, Bitcoin's scarcity, with a limited supply of 21 million coins, and its perceived role as a digital hedge against inflation, similar to gold, may have attracted investors seeking to protect their wealth. Secondly, China's economic challenges, including a slowdown in growth and a heavily indebted real estate market on the verge of collapse, have prompted investors to explore alternative investment options. Additionally, Beijing's crackdown on wealthy individuals has further contributed to the capital outflow from China. Some experts suggest that Chinese investors are using Bitcoin as a funnel to facilitate the movement of funds out of the country. Despite negative developments in the cryptocurrency space, such as the collapse of the FTX exchange and its sister company Alameda Research in 2022, which led to substantial financial losses and criminal charges against its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, Bitcoin and other prominent digital currencies have continued to experience dramatic price increases. From December 2023 to March 2024, Bitcoin's price skyrocketed by 75%, rising from $42,000 to $73,800. Even after a 15% retreat from its peak, Bitcoin remains one of the best-performing assets globally over the past year. The substantial outflow of Chinese capital has been attributed to three major bearish factors: Beijing's crackdown on Chinese billionaires, lackluster economic growth, and plummeting stock markets. In the first half of 2023, China's balance of payments deficit reached $19.5 billion, indicating significant capital flight, with the actual figure potentially being much higher than officially reported. Moreover, there has been a notable increase in wealthy Chinese individuals purchasing luxury apartments in countries like Singapore over the past 2 years, with an immigration consultant stating that tens of thousands of wealthy Chinese families are leaving the country. Data from Chainalysis, a New York-based blockchain research firm, reveals that Chinese cryptocurrency investors generated $1.15 billion in profits in 2023, with cryptocurrency transactions among Chinese individuals experiencing rapid growth. While Chinese investments have undoubtedly contributed to Bitcoin's price rise, the long-term impact remains uncertain, as it is unclear what will happen to Bitcoin's value when these investors decide to repatriate their funds. Terrifying sandstorm engulfs Beijing, viral video captured from plane. As previously reported, at 6 a.m. on March 27, the Central Meteorological Observatory issued a yellow warning for sandstorms, indicating that 11 provinces and cities, including Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei, were being impacted by the storm. Throughout the day, numerous videos of the sandstorm were shared on Chinese social media platforms. One passenger on a plane captured frightening footage of the sandstorm, resembling a colossal wave crashing towards Beijing, with a vast expanse of yellow sand clouds visible below the aircraft. In another video, footage shows the sandstorm obscured the sun and darkened the skies, creating an ominous atmosphere. Satellite weather maps circulating online depicted a massive wave of sand advancing towards Beijing. In response, many Beijing residents took to social media to remind each other to return home early and ensure their doors and windows were securely closed throughout the night. By the evening of March 27, the sandstorm had fully enveloped Beijing. The following morning, around 7 a.m. on March 28, a Beijing resident filmed a video on the street, noting the pungent odor of yellow soil permeating the air. The sky was filled with sand, casting a yellow hue, and drastically reducing visibility. Some residents in Beijing laughed at themselves, saying, "If you eat 2 meals a day, with one of them being soil, that's enough to fill your stomach." Some commented, "It's best to avoid going outside in this weather." In Inner Mongolia, the intense sandstorm has reduced visibility to just 88 meters, and even 300 kilometers away in Beijing, there's a sandstorm as well. In response to the situation, the Beijing Municipal Education Commission issued a notice on March 27, announcing the temporary suspension of outdoor gatherings and sports activities. The notice also urged teachers, students, and staff members to minimize their time outdoors. China sees resurgence of pertussis, over 32,000 cases, 13 deaths in Jan-February. In China, pertussis, or respiratory infectious disease that primarily affects infants and young children, has been spreading at an alarming rate. According to the National Overview of Statutory Infectious Disease Epidemics published on the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) website, from January 1 to February 29 of this year, a total of 32,380 cases of pertussis were reported across China. This figure is nearly 23 times higher than the 1,421 cases reported during the same period in 2023. Among these more than 30,000 pertussis cases, there were 13 fatalities. Pertussis, an age-old infectious disease, had previously entered a state of low prevalence due to the development and widespread use of vaccines through immunization programs. However, as the protective efficacy of the vaccine has waned over time, the prevalence and transmission patterns of pertussis have shifted. Adults and adolescents with no obvious symptoms have become the primary source of infection for infants and young children. Despite maintaining high vaccination rates for the DPT, diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus vaccine, pertussis is still resurging, a phenomenon the academic community has termed pertussis resurgence. Although pertussis is preventable and treatable, the current resurgence poses a serious public health crisis, particularly for vulnerable infants and young children who have not yet received the DPT vaccine. Exposure to environments with a high prevalence of pertussis puts these young individuals at tremendous risk, as the disease can be considerably lethal for this age group. The topic of pertussis resurgence and the report of 13 cumulative deaths from pertussis in January and February garnered significant attention on the internet on February 28. Lifetimes posted on its official Weibo account, emphasizing that pertussis is primarily transmitted through respiratory droplets and that patients, latent infections, and asymptomatic carriers all serve as sources of infection. The disease is more common during the winter and spring seasons, and disease control experts advise vigilance against pertussis if a cough persists and does not improve. In a blog post, science popularizer Sansi Xiaoyao noted that while the DPT vaccine does not provide lifelong protection against pertussis, it can significantly reduce symptom severity. This, however, can lead to misdiagnosis by inexperienced doctors. The author also mentioned that the typical symptoms of pertussis, including spasmodic coughing and a whooping sound, have become rare. Nevertheless, misdiagnosis due to reduced symptom severity can still lead to serious consequences, including death. The author recommends that parents pay for additional DPT vaccine shots for their children between the ages of 4 and 6 and during adolescence to manage the disease until middle and old age. Influential Weibo user Lin Bewley shared an anecdote about a local Zhejiang post titled "Wear a Mask, Wear a Mask, Wear a Mask," which they initially thought was aimed at preventing COVID-19. However, upon clicking the post, they discovered it was actually about pertussis, indicating that the situation has reached a point where people are urging others to wear masks to prevent the spread of the disease. This further highlights the resurgence of pertussis and its potential to develop into an epidemic. Leaked CCP documents reveal mobilization of Western journalists and media to persecute Falun Gong. The Chinese Communist Party has recently been sending threats and intimidating letters to disrupt Shen Yun performances, while simultaneously leveraging overseas media to publish reports attacking Shen Yun, effectively extending the CCP's persecution of Falun Gong beyond China's borders. Over the past 2 weeks, the Longquan Temple, which serves as the headquarters of Shen Yun Performing Arts in the United States, and theaters hosting Shen Yun performances have received a series of bomb threats from CCP agents. On March 26, Longquan Temple also received a letter threatening a large-scale shooting, issued by the CCP and its accomplices, along with an extortion letter demanding $58 million. The exposure of the CCP's despicable tactics has triggered widespread condemnation from the United States and various sectors of society. The FBI has initiated an investigation into the matter. U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller stated, We condemn any form of transnational repression carried out by any country. Zhang Erping, the spokesperson for the Falun Dafa Information Center, explained, "Why is the CCP afraid of Shen Yun? Because since it seized power in 1949, the most important thing it has done is to destroy China's traditional culture. What Shen Yun is doing is precisely restoring these traditional cultures and values." Moreover, some of Shen Yun's programs reveal the CCP's brutal persecution of Falun Gong, such as live organ harvesting and other atrocities. Therefore, the CCP is very fearful of Shen Yun. Experts further point out that in recent years, a handful of Western media outlets have clearly collaborated and acted in unison to attack Falun Gong or Shen Yun performing arts, employing reporting tones consistent with the 610 office, the CCP's dedicated organ for persecuting Falun Gong. This includes the New York Times, which has been deliberately planning to attack Shen Yun in its reporting over the past 6 months. NTD Television has obtained an internal document from the CCP Henan Provincial Party Committee Office dating back to 2017. The document explicitly directs CCP agents to collect intelligence related to Falun Gong both domestically and abroad, closely monitor Falun Gong's headquarters and bases, organize attacks, sow discord, and serve the CCP's so-called overall struggle. The same document also demands the incitement of influential journalists from the United States and Western countries to strive for more voices favorable to the CCP in overseas media. Heng He, an expert on China issues, stated, "It's as if someone has been systematically collecting this information for an extended period and then providing it to these media outlets. There's only one place that could possibly collect such comprehensive information, which is the 610 office, and it's at the central level. Only they can provide such information and ideas. And why are these media outlets or platforms willing to do this? They desperately want to break into the Chinese market." The despicable tactics employed by CCP agents also include impersonating Falun Gong practitioners to create chaos. In multiple countries and regions worldwide, including the United States, Australia, and New Zealand, several politicians and theater managers have successively disclosed that CCP agents have impersonated Falun Gong practitioners and sent out nonsensical emails in an attempt to provoke their dislike of Falun Gong. These forged letters follow similar fixed templates, and Shen Yun performance organizers in some cities have filed police reports. Zhang Erping stated, "Since the CCP came to power, everything it has done has been carried out using the most despicable and rogue means, such as using other people's names and fake emails to deceive the international community in the West. But no matter what it does, these things will eventually be exposed and brought to light." Experts warn that the CCP is exporting transnational repression in various forms, undermining Western values, and calling on governments of various countries to take the matter seriously. Expert Heng He noted, just like the many methods they used to destroy Falun Gong back then, the infiltration methods, they later developed into infiltration and control of the United States and Western countries, with an impact in this regard. If Western countries cannot identify the CCP's new methods in information warfare, cognitive warfare, and public opinion warfare, then in the future, the victims will actually be the governments of Western countries who will become victims. Shen Yun Performing Arts is a performing arts and entertainment company based in New York, renowned for its spectacular performances that strive to revive 5,000 years of traditional Chinese culture and convey the message of China before communism. Founded in 2006, the company has gained worldwide recognition for its annual tours to theaters across the globe, frequently selling out large venues in numerous countries. The performances typically showcase classical Chinese dance, ethnic and folk dance, and story-based dance, with orchestral accompaniment and solo performers. Shen Yun has garnered adoration and acclaim from audiences spanning 5 continents, wherever the performing arts troupe has traveled. Attendees express that this is a true art that has touched their hearts and souls. Speaking to Shen Yun's mission of revitalizing traditional values, Heike Hansen von Hardenberg, a relic restorer, art teacher, and member of a noble family, remarked, "These values are actually already lost now. But if people come to see Shen Yun, maybe we will enter a new era, one where people can care more about other people." Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.